Okay, so this is the second half of the ability and agent roundup for the Valorant beta and the 10 agents which are available. If you're not seeing the first half, the link is in the description below, and you know what to do after that. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you like the video, and I will see you on Twitch. I stream as often as possible. Link below. Hit the follow button, and I will see you in the chat. But for now, let's get straight back into these agents. The next agent is Sage, and Sage is the resident healer of the team. Now, her ultimate is actually Resurrect. This brings back people to life, like Mercy in Overwatch, and you have to be very careful with it, because during the resurrection, firstly, you have to do an action, so you're exposed without a weapon up, but then for the other half of the resurrection, the other person that you've just rezzed is also just stuck in an animation they can't do anything about and facing a static direction. They can't even look around for information. During this time, you're both very exposed. The other one is Healing Orb. Healing Orb is timed. So when you use it, you get it back after a certain cooldown. You can use it on other people or use it on yourself. Now, one of the main abilities, which anyone from Overwatch will know, is this wall. This wall is actually insane. It lasts a long time and it has a lot of hit points. It's not only can it block off people, so you can split up teams with it, you can block doors, corridors with it, but this, just look how long it's up for. Now this can be destroyed, but it takes a lot of bullets. This was damaged because it gets damaged over time as it cools down. But if you want to talk about one that's just been laid, look at the health on this. That's more than a mag. It's just in this, I don't have to reload. That's a ridiculous amount of bullets. Now you can argue, okay, so it's meant to have a team shoot it, but even so, it has some utility. So you can lay it horizontally by default, or you can press the C again and it switches to vertically, or you can hold right click and turn your mouse and you can turn it to any angle you want. And say you set it to an angle and you pull your gun out, you move around somewhere else and you press it again, the angle is saved. So if you preset up a specific angle for a specific map, you can do that in advance and then pop it whenever you want and it remembers. It's pretty cool and it resets just by pressing C. You can as well boost yourself and teammates on the wall. So if you need to get to high ground, that is something you can do. I've seen some people block off corridors with stairs next to them and then they can use the stairs to get up onto the wall afterwards. Great utility. We're going to come up with some great spots to use this in among the community. Looking forward to seeing what people do with it. The next one is Slow Orb. Now, Slow Orb can just be yeeted. Hell of a long way. And what it does, ice on the floor, and anyone stuck in this, friend, foe, enemies, you all get that slow debuff, and as you walk, you'll hear it. You make a lot of noise. Everyone will know you're coming through this. Now, one interesting thing with this is it's not simply an AoE. If you look at the distance, okay, so that's the AoE. It's a normal circle, fair enough. But it's not simply a, you put it here, and that's the distance that it goes. It's not that simple. It's actually volumetric. So in an open area like this, it will just spread out in a circle, and that's fine. But if you go into a corridor, and then you throw it so it can't expand to its full AoE, it actually goes a lot further. Because it can't spread on the outside, it spreads further this way than you would expect. It's very interesting. Used in a narrow corridor, covers so much more distance than it would have done if it was just here. Much bigger AoE. I'd really like how they've done that. It's not how most people would have coded it, and I think that's great. Everyone wants heals. Everyone wants to be resurrected. Let's just hope all this. Sage, res me, Sage, 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 res me. Let's just hope you can handle that in the chat. Next up is Sova, and Sova is all about using a bow and getting information about targets and their locations. He's got some cool stuff. Not so much my favorite guy, but this will definitely play towards some people's playstyles, and they will love him. So his first ability is Owl Drone. Pretty expensive at 300. But what this does, fires up a little drone that you can fire about. It's quite slow, but you can follow this around corners. And it works really well for leading an attack. So you can clear the angles and the person follows behind. So he knows he's safe. And then when he finds someone, got him. The other ability the Owl Drone has
Take flight.
is it can fire a little dart at people. And if you hit them with this dart, you can see the targeting reticle. If you hit them, that tags them, and then everyone can see the location of that person. It's very powerful, but the issue is, as you're using it, you are completely exposed. You're just standing there waiting to get shot in the face. His next ability is Shock Bolt. This pulls out a very simple AoE arrow that can bounce off walls.
Shock dart.
As you can see, when it hits a wall,
Shock dart.
there's the AoE. Pretty fast, pretty cool. This is definitely something for anyone that understands geometry because it can bounce twice. So you hold it and that charges up the power and the distance of how far you want it to go. So you've already got that variable. And if that wasn't enough for you, you can, by right-clicking and holding, make it bounce off walls up to 2 times, which are seen by the little squares lighting up at the bottom.
Shock dart.
Now, admittedly, you see where it goes.
Shock dart.
But Jesus, judging, one bounce is fine, right?
Shock dart.
You can tell that angle. But after that,
Shock dart.
there are going to be some people pulling some amazing shots with this thing. But it's going to take a long time for people to get used to. If any of you saw the devs fighting the streamers on Twitch before, some of the devs were insane with this thing already. The next up is Recon Bolt. Now, this is quite complicated. It fires exactly the same way as before. Left click to charge up the power. Right click on how many bounces you want it to do. But then after that, when it lands,
Revealing area.
it sends out a little drone and pulses. What happens with those pulses, if any enemy is within that pulse, as it pulses over them, you can see them through walls. However, it does require line of sight, so it has a lot of counterplay. So if you fire it there, and I'm here, that's not showing me. The pulse looks as if it's hitting me, but it's not showing me if I was an enemy. You can even time it, so you can, like, dodge the pulse. Peekaboo. And it wouldn't have detected me. It's literally only for that split second the pulse hits you, you need to be out of line of sight. So you can actually completely 5-head it and just... If it was there, I could be like, that's not got me. Still not got me. I think it may have clicked me, but you know what? You know what I mean. It's like, it's not got me. Still not got me. Like, the guy would have no idea I'm here if he's not watching the actual doorway. I'm not showing up on his drone because I'm not in line of sight as the pulse hits. The other thing is it can be destroyed by damage. Obviously, it's mine. I can't destroy it, but if an enemy can shoot it. And when you see an enemy one, it's bright red, not blue. So it's very obvious that that is an enemy one and not mine. His ultimate is Hunter's Fury. Not only does this look cool, it also slows down your movement during it. This is not for his walking speed. A lot faster. But this goes through walls for the entire map. You charge up and fire. Charge up and fire. This can be happen about up to 3 times. As long as you are within the firing time. So you kind of want to spam them. Because it's the only way you're going to get 3 times. During the firing animation, you basically can't move. You're just stuck here. Nor can you move your mouse. What that ability does is if that goes through the whole map, through walls, penetrates everything, if it hits someone, it damages them and reveals their location. So again, It's 3 of his abilities actually gain you location data about the enemies, with one of them being a damaging AoE. This agent is called Breach. Now, Breach is something special for one reason. All of his abilities go through walls. This dude's going to be insane, right? He has a really nicely rounded kit. I think he's going to be a lot of fun. Now, the way it works is his first ability is Aftershock. What you can see with this is you just get this kind of targeting reticle. You couldn't fire it there because it can't go through the wall, so that's saying do not fire it there. But anything yellow, that's fine. Now, what happens, and I've got to be quick, is when you fire it at a wall, it goes to the other side of the wall, charges up, and then releases. Takes quite a long time, so if there's an enemy there, they have a lot of time to move out the way. It's probably more for zoning rather than anything else. But yeah, it doesn't matter on the size of the wall. You can literally go through all of this. Doesn't matter how thick it is. Doesn't matter how thin it is. Still goes through. And does some nice damage. Oh, see if we can get a damage number for you. 102 on that guy from there. Got quite a lot of range on it, look. Next ability is Flashpoint. Now, this is a flash grenade, basically, that goes through walls. It works exactly the same as the last ability in that you fire it at one side and it goes through the other. It's just a lot faster. Now, his next 2 abilities are really cool. These you can charge up. Well, this one you can charge up. It is Fault Line. You'll see exactly what it does down here. And as you can see, the minimum range, if I just fire it now, quite a short range. But if you spend the time to charge it up, it goes as far as that portal. What Fault Line does is it will daze any player that it hits. So it's not so much a damaging ability as a stun that goes in a straight line for quite a long way, hits everything in it, and dazes all of them. You are going to want to be in a position to take advantage of that. But if you combine it with some of the other people, like Sova, which can get allocations of people, then they can be a great combo to really set something like this up. Now, his ultimate has a similar kind of style to it in that it goes in a straight line, but it does something a bit different. It dazes them and knocks them up. So, you know where someone is. You can fire that at them. They'll get stunned. They go in the air. Shoot them out of the air. Shoot them as they're stunned on the ground. And you don't even have to see them to use it. The final agent is one of the common ones that most people have seen before, Viper. Now, Viper has an interesting mechanic which no one else has, which is fuel. Her abilities uses the secondary resource, and it allows them to fuel recharges over time. And it allows you to reuse these abilities multiple times through the game, and it's a pretty cool mechanic. So the first ability is Snakebite, and Snakebite is a bit more run-of-the-mill. It's basically a Molotov that you load into your arm and fire, and it can bounce off walls. Quite bouncy. It's very controllable and indeed does damage yourself. Although, unlike the other Molotov-like abilities in the game, this one doesn't go through walls. Whether this means that this is working as intended and the other ones are bugged, or whether it's designed this way so that the fire abilities go through walls and the poison abilities don't, I'm not sure. I'd kind of like them to be consistent. I don't know why fire goes through walls and this doesn't, but either way, I'm sure it'll be worked out one way or the other. The next ability is Poison Cloud. This is Viper's ability. This is Viper's smoke grenade, essentially. You throw it, gets stuck on the floor, doesn't activate. You activate this manually, and if you look at the bottom center of the screen, when it's active, it uses fuel. or poison. You can go inside it. It doesn't damage you, but it will damage the enemy. You're wearing a gas mask, so you're fine. Enemy gas will harm you, so you have to be careful for that. Now, as you can see, the toxin recharges. This also means that when the toxins come out and recharged, you can activate it again. Nice. So, if you stay in the training area too long, this happens. You get a loading screen in the middle of trying to do your work. Yeah. I'll be back with you showing Viper as soon as this game stops kicking me out of the training area. Okay, so we are back in finally with Viper. As I was saying, you can throw this grenade, normal gas grenade, and once you've activated it and deactivated it, one cool thing you can do is just pick it up. Now, once you've picked it up, and it's had time to cool down, as shown by the blue bar at the bottom, you've got your grenade back. And it still uses the gas. Now, one thing to remember is that gas goes down at a set rate. And there are other things that use it. Such as this wall. To hit it, you can just see the distance of this thing. Now, this wall cannot be picked up. Once it's there, it's there. And the enemy can't destroy it either. But one thing you can do with this is that. It's very similar to Phoenix's wall in that it is a thin wall. Will damage enemies as it goes. It is a thin wall that does poison and drains the toxin very fast. But you can lower it and raise it again at will. Very powerful ability. The thing is with this is that you can have both activated at the same time, but they will both drain fuel, and it drains it very fast. So you don't want to be doing that for too long. Now, for Viper's ultimate and the final ability of all of the agents in the game, it is Viper's Pit. This is basically a massive smoke. Now, it takes a while to put down. And as you can see, it doesn't hit its maximum distance at first. It does go out and grow. It's so big that you can't see from one side to the other. I don't know why I pressed that. So, as you can see, as you move, it reveals more. Enemies which are inside this green area glow bright red to you. They really stand out, but you don't to them. That's your own little ult. And this ultimate stays as long as you're inside it. That's pretty cool. It doesn't use fuel, isn't timed. As long as you're in it, it'll last. In fact, if you exit it, you will see it counting down. As long as you enter it again, smoke integrity goes back up. Really cool, lasts forever. Downside is that they know you're inside it. As long as this ultimate exists, they know you're there. They don't know where. You can set up traps, but they can counter it. So, that is it for me. Those are your 10 agents in Valorant in the beta. I can't wait for more agents to be released already. I know that's really early, but I just love content. I love the characters. I love the new abilities and everything to play with. I've got these 10 to play with. I've only just gone into the beta, so being able to have these many people to play will keep me busy for a long time. If you want to watch that learning experience and you want to keep up with me playing this game, it will all be shown on Twitch. I will be streaming as often as possible and as often as I can. There is no schedule set up at the moment, but I imagine, given everything that's going on, I am going to try and stream this daily for quite a while. And make videos when I'm not streaming. So, click the link below, hit the follow button on Twitch, and I will see you live. I look forward to it. I hope you do too. And with that, I'll see you in the next video.